Long ago, in a peaceful village called Ayetoro, the people lived simple lives. They farmed, traded, and looked out for each other. Crime was rare because everyone trusted one another. One sunny morning, a man named Laliga arrived in Ayetoro. He wore a neat police uniform, shiny black boots, and carried a whistle around his neck. He had a big potbelly and always wore dark sunglasses. He spoke boldly and walked like a real officer. Nobody in Ayetoro had ever seen him before, but his uniform convinced everyone he was sent by the government. He called a village meeting under the big iroko tree. "My people," he said in a loud voice, "my name is Inspector Laliga. I have been sent to this village to protect you from criminals. I need your full support to keep this village safe." The villagers clapped and praised him. They even gave him a small room in the town hall to use as his police post. That night, Laliga sat alone in his room and laughed to himself. He was not a real policeman. He bought the uniform from a second-hand market in the city and came to Ayetoro to get rich by deceiving innocent people. In the first week, Inspector Laliga made new rules. He said no one should walk about after 7 p.m. Anyone found outside after that time must pay a fine. He started arresting young boys returning from the farm late in the evening. He blew his whistle, shouted "Stop there!" and demanded they pay fines for breaking the law. He collected money, goats, and even chickens from them. The villagers obeyed him out of fear. He spoke big grammar, quoted laws they did not understand, and threatened to take people to prison in the city. After a month, he began to stop motorcycles on the village road. "Where is your license?" he would ask. If the rider could not produce one, he seized the motorcycle and told them to bring money for bail. Many poor farmers sold their farm produce to pay him so they could get their motorcycles back. Inspector Laliga became rich quickly. He built a small shack behind the town hall to keep all the motorcycles, goats, and chickens he seized. He even had people bring him food and palm wine every night. One day, a young man named Okolo came home from the city to visit his parents. He drove a small car, a gift from his uncle. Inspector Laliga stopped him at the village square. "Where is your car paper?" he asked. Okolo was confused. He had never heard of paying taxes for driving inside a village. Inspector Laliga shouted, "You are carrying contraband in this car. Bring 20,000 naira or I will impound this vehicle." Okolo, who grew up in the city, did not fear him. But his parents begged him to pay so Laliga would not arrest him. Reluctantly, Okolo gave the money. Laliga smirked and told him to drive on. Word spread fast. Anyone who bought a car, bicycle, or motorcycle had to register it with Inspector Laliga. He gave them fake papers stamped with a red pen. People believed him because they feared prison. Inspector Laliga was clever. He visited the elders every week and gave them small gifts, bags of rice, palm oil, and beer to keep them happy. He told them he was making Ayetoro safe. He lied that he sent half the money he collected to the government. Some elders were suspicious but kept quiet because Laliga promised to build a big police station soon. He chose 4 young men to work under him as village guards. He gave them whistles and old torchlights. They followed him around like puppies. He paid them peanuts but they felt important wearing uniforms too. Laliga even courted the village women. He told them he could help their sons get jobs in the city police if they cooperated. Some women fell for his sweet words and gave him gifts, money, and food. Young Okolo, who paid the car tax, did not trust Laliga. He decided to visit the city police headquarters when he returned to work. There, he met the divisional police officer and asked if Inspector Laliga was real. The DPO was shocked. "There is no Inspector Laliga in the entire state police," he said. "Bring us proof." Okolo went back to Ayetoro quietly and began to investigate. He took photos of Laliga in his uniform. He spoke to some villagers secretly and collected statements of how Laliga took their money and seized their properties. He also found out Laliga never filed any report to any police station. Okolo knew it was time to expose him. One evening, Okolo called a meeting at the village square. He invited the real police from the city. 2 police vans drove into Ayetoro, sirens blaring. Inspector Laliga was sitting under a tree, drinking palm wine when he heard the sirens. He jumped up, confused. The villagers gathered quickly. The real police officers came out in proper uniforms. They called Laliga forward. The DPO said, "This man standing here is a fake. He has deceived you all. He is not one of us." The villagers gasped in shock. Some wept. Some shouted curses at Laliga. The elders felt ashamed they had allowed him to fool them. Laliga dropped to his knees and begged, "Please, forgive me. I was only trying to survive." The DPO ordered his men to handcuff him immediately. The real police searched Laliga's shack behind the town hall. They found piles of money hidden inside old pots. They found seized motorcycles, bicycles, sacks of yams, and even people's goats tied behind the building. They recorded everything and returned all stolen items to their owners. The people rejoiced, but they were also embarrassed. They blamed themselves for being too trusting. Laliga was pushed into the police van. As they drove him away, he looked back at Ayetoro, now full of angry villagers throwing stones at the van. Inspector Laliga was taken to the city court. He faced many charges: impersonation, extortion, theft, and fraud. The judge listened to testimonies from the villagers, especially Okolo, who proved to be the hero. Laliga tried to defend himself, but his lies fell apart. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison without bail. Back in Ayetoro, the people learned a lesson. They no longer trusted uniforms blindly. They agreed to always verify any official who came to their village. They set up a small village council to handle security matters with real police from the city. Okolo became a respected figure in the village. The elders blessed him and promised to support him if he ever wanted to become a true leader. Years later, Ayetoro became known as the village that could not be fooled twice. They built a real police post with genuine officers posted from the city. Crime reduced and trust among villagers grew stronger. They always remembered Inspector Laliga's story and told it to their children as a warning that not everyone in uniform is honest, and that silence gives power to evil people. Months after Laliga was jailed, life in Ayetoro slowly returned to normal. But Okolo, the young man who exposed Laliga, found out something troubling. When the real police returned the stolen money to the villagers, they realized not everything was accounted for. Some villagers never came forward to claim their stolen items, while some money seemed to have disappeared. One night, Okolo sat with Elder Ajoni under the moonlight. "Okolo, I fear Laliga did not act alone," Elder Ajoni said, his voice trembling. "There is rumor he hid money somewhere in this village. And I suspect he had secret helpers." Okolo's mind raced. He remembered the 4 boys Laliga called his village guards. They vanished the same night Laliga was arrested. Nobody knew where they went. Determined to get answers, Okolo gathered some trusted youths. They searched the village day and night. They found one of Laliga's guards hiding in a nearby farm hut. His name was Aluko. Aluko looked sick and hungry when they caught him. "Please don't hurt me." Aluko cried. "I will confess." They took him to Elder Ajoni's house. Aluko knelt and spoke. "Laliga told us to dig a hole behind the old shrine. He hid a box full of money there. He said if anything happened to him, we should take the money and run." Okolo asked, "Where is the box now?" Aluko shook his head. "We took it and split the money. The others ran to the city. I was too scared to go." Okolo knew they had to recover the stolen money. He decided to travel to the city and find the 3 runaway guards. He told the villagers he would go alone so as not to draw attention. At dawn, he packed a small bag, wore a plain shirt, and boarded a rusty bus to Lagos. When he arrived, he found the city loud and confusing. But Okolo was smart. He used his uncle's connections to trace the runaway boys. He learned that they were living in a slum and spending the money recklessly. One night, Okolo and 2 local policemen caught them gambling behind a broken-down cinema. They dragged them to the police station, where they confessed and revealed the rest of the hidden money. Okolo felt proud Ayetoro's stolen wealth would finally come home, but trouble was not over. When Okolo returned with the recovered money, some villagers grew greedy. Fights broke out about how to share it. Some elders claimed bigger portions. Some families said Laliga took more from them than they were given back. Elder Ajoni called another village meeting. "My people, if we fight each other because of this money, we are no better than Laliga," he said. This money must be used to benefit everyone. After long arguments, they agreed to build a small health clinic and a new market shed with the money instead of sharing it individually. This way, everyone gained something. A few weeks later, the Real police returned to inspect Ayetoro. They were shocked but impressed to see how the villagers handled the remaining stolen wealth. The divisional police officer, who helped arrest Laliga, recommended Okolo for a government award. Okolo received a small medal for bravery and honesty. The villagers celebrated him with singing and drumming, but one officer pulled Okolo aside and whispered, "There are rumors Laliga may appeal his sentence. Be careful, he might have friends outside." Okolo's heart beat faster. What if Laliga came back for revenge? One stormy night, rumors spread that Laliga escaped from prison during a prison riot. Fear returned to Ayetoro. Some swore they saw a man in a torn police uniform lurking near the old town hall. Families locked their doors early. The children would not go out at night. Goats and chickens began to disappear again. People whispered, "Is Laliga back?" Okolo did not believe it until he found a note stuck on his door, "I am coming for what is mine. Inspector Laliga." Okolo knew he had to end this once and for all. He contacted the city police again. Together, they laid a trap. They spread word that the village council would meet at night to share more recovered money. That night, the villagers gathered under the iroko tree. The police hid in the shadows. Hours passed. Suddenly, a shadowy figure crept near the meeting. He wore a torn uniform and carried a wooden stick like a gun. When the figure stepped forward to speak, the real police shone their torchlights and pounced. It was Laliga, indeed, weak, tired, and desperate. He had escaped prison but had nowhere to hide except the same village he robbed. As they dragged him away a second time, Laliga screamed, "You people will never be free of me." This time, Laliga was sent to a faraway prison. Ayetoro finally slept in peace. The villagers learned to always verify strangers. They started an official security watch with real police and trusted locals. Young Okolo became their village secretary, in charge of keeping records and investigating any suspicious visitors. He married a kind woman named Sade, and they had 2 children who grew up hearing the story of Inspector Laliga, the fake policeman who could never defeat a united people. 5 years after Inspector Laliga was sent to the faraway prison, Ayetoro had changed. The new clinic was working. The market shed was busy every day. Okolo, now married with 2 children, still served as the trusted village secretary, but one rainy evening, a young stranger came to Ayetoro. He wore city clothes, carried a small leather bag, and had sharp eyes that studied everyone. He called himself Igala. He claimed to be a trader looking for palm oil. The villagers welcomed him kindly. He stayed with an old widow near the stream and moved about quietly. But at night, he sat under the same iroko tree where Laliga once lied to them. There, he spoke to himself in whispers. One evening, Igala visited the old town hall. He saw the new real police post and spat on the ground. He hated it. In the darkness, he pulled out an old black and white photograph, a photo of Laliga in his fake police uniform. On the back of the photo were 2 words, "Father always." Igala was Laliga's secret son. He grew up in the city with his mother, who told him stories of how his father suffered because of Ayetoro. In his mind, Laliga was a hero who only stole because the villagers were foolish and selfish. Igala swore to finish what his father started and punish Ayetoro for betraying him. Igala started small. He moved from house to house at night, whispering lies to the youths. "The police are stealing your money," he told some angry young men. "They take bribes in the city every day. Why should you obey them here?" He told farmers, "Okolo is building a big house with your money. Why should he be the hero while you remain poor?" Slowly, some villagers started to doubt their leaders again. Igala gave them small gifts, cheap beer, city clothes, tiny amounts of money to win their loyalty. One night, a group of boys broke into the market shed and stole bags of beans. They claimed they deserved it because the government owes us. Igala's poison was working. Okolo noticed the sudden disobedience. Reports of stolen farm produce, missing goats, and rude youths reached him daily. He called a village meeting and begged everyone, "Don't allow lies to divide us. We must stand together like we did before." But Igala had gained loyal followers. They mocked Okolo behind his back, calling him the puppet of the city police. The real police officers stationed in Ayetoro began to feel unwelcome too. Tension grew in the air like thick harmattan dust. One night, under the full moon, Igala gathered his loyal boys behind the abandoned shrine. He stood on a stone and addressed them. "My father wore this uniform and you people disgraced him," he said, raising the photo of Laliga. "Now, we take back the village." He gave them instructions: raid the police post, scatter the village records, and frighten the people into silence. Igala did not want money alone. He wanted fear. He wanted Ayetoro to kneel. At midnight, they struck. Armed with sticks and machetes, Igala's gang stormed the police post. They tied up 2 young officers, broke tables, scattered files, and set a corner of the building on fire. They ran to Okolo's house next. But Okolo's wife Sade saw them first and rang the town bell, an old iron bell used only for emergencies. The entire village woke up. Drums beat. The elders gathered. The real police called for backup. Okolo stood at his gate, unafraid. When Igala's boys reached him, they stopped. They had expected a fearful man, but they saw a father, a leader, a defender. Igala stepped forward, holding his father's photo in one hand and a stick in the other. "Okolo," he shouted, "you ruined my father. Now I ruin you." Okolo looked him in the eyes. "Your father ruined himself. You do not have to repeat his foolishness." But Igala spat at his feet. "Silence. Ayetoro belongs to my father's blood." At that moment, city police vans arrived. Sirens wailed through the night again, just like when Laliga was caught. A short clash happened. Igala's boys scattered into the bushes. Igala himself was dragged down by the police before he could flee. At dawn, Igala was tied to the same Iroko tree where his father once made empty promises. The villagers gathered. Old men and young children came out to see the boy who nearly broke their peace, but Okolo stepped forward and raised his hand. "We will not beat him. We will not kill him. We will hand him to the real law to show we are better than his father." Igala stared at the ground. His eyes, once full of hate, now showed regret. For the first time, he realized how badly he had been misled. Igala was taken to the city. There, he faced charges for arson, incitement, and attempted theft. The judge, hearing the full story, sentenced him to years of community service instead of prison. He was made to work in a city orphanage and talk to street boys about the danger of lies and crime. For the first time in his life, Igala saw real suffering and he slowly changed. Back in Ayetoro, the villagers rebuilt the burnt corner of the police post. They set up a council of young and old to watch for bad seeds in their midst. And they told the story of Laliga and his son for generations, a reminder that the uniform does not make a man good, and that lies spread fastest among those who refuse to ask questions. Years later, Okolo sat with his grown son under the Iroko tree. "Papa, is it true the fake policeman once fooled everyone here?" The boy asked. "Yes, my son. He fooled us twice. But we learned. Never fear to ask questions. Never trust a uniform without truth behind it." And so, Ayetoro remained a village of strong people, once fooled, twice wiser, forever united. 10 years after the village defeated Igala, Ayetoro grew prosperous. They had a clinic, a proper police post, a new water well, and a weekly market that attracted traders from nearby villages. Okolo, now grey-haired, watched over the village with the other elders. Everyone believed Ayetoro could never be deceived again, but evil always finds a crack. One sunny afternoon, a man arrived in a big shiny car. He wore a white suit, gold-rimmed glasses, and spoke with a city accent. His name was Chief Milo, but he told everyone to call him Chief Gold. He claimed he was a big businessman from the city, looking to help poor villages become rich. Chief Gold called a grand meeting in the village square. He arrived with 2 bodyguards and boxes of documents. He stood on a plastic chair and spoke like a preacher. "My good people of Ayetoro," he shouted, smiling wide, "I bring you blessings. I have come to help you make money without sweat. A new factory will rise here. You will produce palm oil and export it to America. You only need to invest small money today, and in 6 months, you will all be millionaires." The villagers clapped. Some danced. Who would not want to get rich with little effort? Chief Gold handed out glossy papers with gold stamps and fake government logos. He showed photos of white men shaking his hand. He claimed they were his foreign partners. Okolo, wise from past betrayal, stood up during the meeting. My people, calm down, he shouted. We must verify this man first. Let us check his company in the city. We will visit his office and confirm his papers. Chief Gold laughed smoothly. He threw his arm around Okolo's shoulder. Papa Okolo, great leader. You have done so well for your people. But you are old now. You fear change. Trust the young ones. The world has moved forward. Some villagers clapped and booed Okolo for spoiling the good news. A few greedy traders even told Okolo to sit down if he had no money to invest. To win trust, Chief Gold gave 10 villagers starter money 5,000 naira each. He told them, this is free. You will see how my business works. Those 10 people praised him everywhere. They told everyone, we collected money and did nothing. Chief Gold is real. The next market day, dozens lined up to invest. They sold goats, borrowed from family, and gave Chief Gold money in sealed envelopes. He gave them printed investment certificates with fancy signatures. Within 2 weeks, he collected millions. One curious boy, Say, decided to visit Chief Gold's city office. He followed one of Gold's drivers into town. There, he found only a rented shop with painted signboards. Inside were cheap chairs and dusty files. Nobody was working except 2 men counting cash. Say ran back and told Okolo, Okolo Baba, Chief Gold's office is fake. He only collects money. There is no factory, no white partners. Okolo felt his heart drop. He called for an emergency village meeting, but when they went to the guest house where Chief Gold stayed, they found empty rooms. His big car was gone. The bodyguards were gone. The documents were gone. The only thing he left behind was a small letter on Okolo's doorstep. Old man, you have sharp eyes. But your people love easy money. Next time, teach them to love the truth instead. Chief Gold. The villagers wailed. Many farmers lost all their savings. Some women sold their jewelry to invest. Even the village teacher used school fees to invest, hoping to double it. Okolo called the city police immediately. He showed them the fake papers and Say's report, but Chief Gold was clever. He changed cars, wore disguises, and moved from village to village like a ghost. Each place he visited, he promised quick riches and people fell for his sweet lies. The police placed his face on posters. They searched bus parks, hotels, and city streets. But Chief Gold was always one step ahead. Back in Ayetoro, the people gathered under the Iroko tree again. Some cried, some blamed each other, some blamed Okolo for not stopping him sooner. Okolo stood up, weary but firm. This man is gone. But we must protect ourselves from the next one, he said. Next time, no stranger will collect money until we check, double-check, and confirm with the city police. They formed a village vigilance group, a team of trusted men and women to screen visitors and check all deals. They also decided to teach their children about fraud and greed. Months later, in a distant town, Chief Gold tried his trick again. But this time, one old man recognized him from a wanted poster. He alerted the police secretly. Chief Gold was caught trying to board a night bus to another region. When the police opened his briefcase, they found hundreds of fake certificates and a bundle of people's money. He begged for mercy, but the villagers he tricked refused to forgive him. He was jailed for 25 years, without hope of bail. Back in Ayetoro, the villagers recovered slowly. They helped each other with small loans to restart farms and businesses. Okolo's son, now a young teacher, began teaching school children about fraud, how to ask questions, check facts, and never trust easy money. Whenever traders visited Ayetoro, the elders asked for city references, real business addresses, and proof verified by the police. Once fooled, twice wiser, thrice unshakeable.
Thank you for watching.